This is kind of like one of those places that we all put on our list. We are in a place that I have wanted to visit for a while, ever since I saw another fellow YouTuber's video on this place. And where we are staying in this particular campground in Monument Valley, Utah, is simply amazing. There are just rock views surrounding us in this particular campground, and even though there's not really good cell reception here, there's Wi-Fi, so we are able to at least, make phone calls via the Wi-Fi, and we got some work done this morning on the Wi-Fi. But I am super excited today because we are gonna go explore. Now, things being what they are, and it being a summer of a lot of closures with COVID, there's some things that we know we're not gonna be able to see. The Navajo Tribal Valley Park is closed because Navajo Nation, as of the taping of this, is closed, so we won't be able to get in there. But we are gonna go check out some other fun areas, and this is just breathtaking. When we were driving in last night, I mean, guys, this was just the most beautiful area that I have ever seen coming in. The rock formations, it's just surreal. I posted a picture on my Facebook page this morning, and somebody said it looks like Radiator Springs out of Cars or something, because it kind of does. It's really, really interesting with all the red rocks and just the structures. So we're gonna go explore. We are gonna go find what there is to see that's still open, and I know we're gonna have a ton of fun, so stay tuned, and we'll kind of give you a look into Monument Valley, Utah. So behind me is kind of the iconic location where, if you remember the movie Forrest Gump and he was running, this is the road he was running along when they filmed that particular movie. And you have probably seen this particular scenery in tons of pictures, and especially those of us that are living the RV life, this is kind of like one of those places that we all put on our list of a place to come get some photos. So we're gonna get some photos today of the family. I told the kids this is Christmas card material right here. But a super fun place to come check out, and just very iconic. I mean, hello, Forrest Gump was filmed right here when he was running, and it's absolutely beautiful. It is very hot, so we have plenty of water with us, and we're good there, but boy, it's hot. So we've had a real fun day just exploring all of this area. There's a lot to see. One thing that is just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks is fatigue, just because it is so dang hot that I feel like that just really drains the energy from you. Where we're recording this, it's right at the end of May, so we're not quite to June yet. I cannot imagine how hot the summers must get in this particular area. So I'm glad that we chose this time of year as far as, you know, not going into the summer to be here. So that's something to think about. If you do choose to come to this area, maybe choose spring, fall, when it's not quite so hot, or get in all of your sightseeing before the heat of the day and just head back to the campground once that heat of the day in the afternoon hits. But this is just beautiful country, something that is kind of on everybody's, you know, bucket list as far as the Forrest Gump Hill and the iconic places to take photos and those photo op types of places. If you like photo ops, there's hundreds of photo ops that are out here. So when things are fully open, there's plenty of tours that are guided tours that you can take as well. Right now, because of the COVID situation, there's not so many of those that are available. So you just got to kind of go on your own self-tour and do a little bit of research on some fun things to go check out. And then talking to locals is always a great way to find out some kind of must-see things that are in a particular area that you're visiting as well. But we're really enjoying it here. We've got another day left to be able to take in some more sites before we move on. So I'm really glad that we did put this on our travel list this year. Definitely a great time, and probably be back at some point to check this out again, but probably when it's a little bit cooler weather.
Something kinda crazy. I wanna go drive all night with you right next to me. I wanna go feel the pounding of your heartbeat. When we get up high, won't look down and won't look back. Yeah, when I die, I wanna know I lived like that. I wanna run in wide spaces, fly like the wind in high places, rushing like water on my face with your hand in my head.
So right now we are just outside of Mexican Hat, Utah. I'm a little breath. I was climbing this little hill to get up close to this Mexican Hat rock behind me here. But the kids are just having fun playing in the dirt, and it's a gorgeous view from up here. You can see kind of Monument Valley off in the distance and the rock structures. And we just had a very nice sit-down experience at a restaurant, which, man, I will never take sitting down at a restaurant and having somebody bring me my food and bring me my drinks for granted again. Takeout and delivery is nice, but man, it's nice when you don't have to clean up the mess afterwards or any of that. Somebody brings you your food, it's still hot, it didn't sit in a to-go container for 10 or 15 minutes before it got to you. And it's just nice to be able to go sit down at a restaurant. So we did that inside this super tiny town called Mexican Hat. And then came to just do a little bit more of driving and take a look at the scenery. And the structure behind me is Mexican Hat, hence the name Mexican Hat. So pretty fun day, plenty to see in this Monument Valley area in Utah, even with some things being closed, still plenty to do, and things that are starting to reopen as well. So we are here at Gooseneck State Park in Utah, and the view here is just breathtaking and actually a little bit like unsettling to my stomach, just looking at how far down it really is. It's about 1,000 feet from where we are right now to where the actual San Juan River is cutting through all of these rock formations. And we were reading one of these signs, and it actually says that the San Juan continues to kind of cut this down deeper and deeper every single year. And so really breathtaking view, but actually also kind of a little bit like of a, nervousness in the pit of your stomach that you feel, at least I do, just being up so high and seeing how far it is down there. So when we stopped to just kind of get out, I told Ben, let's stop where they have kind of this rock wall barrier thing. I feel a little bit more comfortable looking over this versus some of the other areas where it's just sheer cliff. So definitely a breathtaking view and a really cool sight to see here in this particular area of Utah. So while we've been staying here in Monument Valley, Utah, we have been staying at the Gouldings Campground. Now, the Gouldings area is really big. They have a campground, they have a lodge, they've got like some cabins, they have a car wash, they have a small grocery store, which I'm super thankful for the small grocery store because there is literally nothing around. We have this stray, I assume stray, dog that's been hanging out at our RV because we felt bad for him, so we were giving him food and water.
Last night there's a stray dog that came around and we fed him a hamburger. He was pretty skinny, and now this guy's like, hey, would you feed me a hamburger? I like hamburger.
Dad, there's a lizard.
He's a smiley guy.
I was looking online to see if there was some sort of animal shelter or animal control in the area. No, 2 hours away. So this is literally like a very desolate area. The campground is gorgeous. Like, you're just surrounded by like red walls in this like stone canyon, and it's just absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking. We pulled in before dark because we like to try to pull in before dark when we can. And it was just amazing. Like, I cannot still believe the views that there are here, and they're just gorgeous. There is a museum we're gonna go check out here in just a little bit, but overall, amazing, amazing place to stay here at the Gouldings Campground. So the interesting thing is looking at the sign about Harry and Mike Goulding, which Mike was his wife, and it gives the dates that they were born and the dates they passed away. Obviously, that's what memorials usually do. But one thing that's a great math lesson for the kids, anytime we see something like this, can turn into a quick math lesson and talk about, okay, if so-and-so was born this date to this date, how old would they have been when they passed away? Or we just looked at Harry and Mike Goulding and figured out she then outlived her husband by 11 years based on the dates that they each passed away. So kind of a little interesting thing that you can do to incorporate some good life skills, some, road schooling or whatever like that when you see things like this with your family and your kids, is to kind of talk about those things and to have the kids practice those skills when it comes to math and thinking, and even just thinking about what life would have looked like for them, but then also what does it look like to outlive your husband by 11 years. So one of the really nice things about this campground is there's actually a couple of hiking trails that are right here at the campground. So you don't even have to drive to get to any sort of trailhead. You can just walk there from the campground. So we are going to take a nice little evening hike. It is overcast skies right now, which doesn't make for the best photography, but it makes for a nice evening hike, and it's not full-on sun and blazing heat. So we're going to take a hike up to an actual arch structure that's on the property here at Gouldings, and it's kind of their own private arch. So it'll be a fun, nice little evening hike before that we get dinner going.
That was fun.
Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing thing. First of all, Scott, who was like our tour guide, was just a wealth of information. This whole area, it's 1 square mile, but it is surrounded by the Navajo reservation. So it's one of the few areas that you find in the United States that is private property that is surrounded on all sides by a Native American reservation. And one of the things that Scott told us is that the Navajo reservation is the largest reservation as far as like square miles or land mass or whatever in the United States. So that was an interesting fact I did not know before. And then this place is so rich in history because we learned that the Gouldings, and it was Harry and Mike was the wife, and her name was...
He named her Mike because he couldn't remember her real name, or couldn't spell it.
Leon. And he wanted to write her love letter. And he couldn't spell Leon, so he said, I'm going to call you Mike. And she stayed Mike. But so they came here in the 20s and turned this place into a trading post. There was no kind of trading post or anything in the area, so they turned this place into a trading post. And then when kind of the Depression hit and there was a lot of things that were going on, obviously, you know, economically with the Depression, he was down, Harry Goulding was down in Flagstaff, and he heard from some people in Flagstaff that Hollywood producers were looking for a place to film outdoor westerns, because back then they'd only been filmed like on movie sets but not in actual settings. And so he heard about this when he was in Flagstaff, and he said that they've got to see Monument Valley. So he and his wife packed up his bedroll in his old car and they drove 3 days to California to Hollywood, and walked into John Ford, who is a movie producer, walked into his office and said, we need to meet with John Ford. And the secretary said, well,
sorry, you have to have an appointment.
Yes. And do you have an appointment? And
7 days out.
He said 2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks out,
He said, I don't have 2 weeks. I have a business I have to run. And so he was going to go get his bedroll and just camp out there. And he brought all these black and white photos of Monument Valley with him. And so...
sat him down on the chair there.
Yeah, he started setting him down on the chair. And then a guy walked in who, you know, then Hollywood wasn't as big as it is now. So this guy that was kind of like part of the custodial staff was also one of the set directors. And he started seeing these pictures that... Mr. Goulding had laid out, and he said,
as they were coming to kick him out,
right?
He saw the pictures,
and he's like, "Where is this place?" And he said, this is Monument Valley, this is where I'm from. And he was in front of John Ford just a matter of, minutes later. And then it was like within a very short time span, I forget exactly how long, but super short time span, that then Hollywood was here. And they were filming for the movie Stagecoach, because that was the movie they were looking at filming at that particular time. And since then, like dozens and dozens of movies.
Future.
Dozens of Westerns, but yeah, more modern movies too that I didn't even realize were filmed here in Monument Valley. And so it's just amazing the history that's here, and learning some about the Navajo culture and the Navajo people, just rich history that is there also. And I'm just so glad that we put this on our list.
Hey buddy, so I'm trying to get a little bit of work done here. Good too. I know.
You know that, right?
Good boy.
Now I'm like, what do I say? You're used to? Flies, also flies, oh my gosh. Like I'm always getting landed on by flies.